ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Verse 235. न निरोधो न चोत्पत्तिः न बद्धो न च साधकः न मुमुक्षुर्न वै मुक्तः इत्येषा परमार्थता. So in these verses beginning from verse 210, so Vidyaranya is dealing with Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam which is revealed by the word Asi. And it's consisting of Tvam and Tatpada. And Vidyaranya pointed out also that for this, through this, this Aikya Jnanam is possible only through the Lakshana, of course. And if one gains this Aikya Jnanam, then moksha will be possible. So through Advaita Jnanam, this Bheda, so-called duality between Jiva and Jiva, Vidyaranya uses the word Atma Bheda. So Jiva Bheda will go away. Jiva Paramatma, Jiva Ishvara Bheda also will go away. And Jiva Jagat Bheda etc. also will go away. And of course Sankhya had a different opinion that Atma Bheda will be there. Because one individual, one Jiva is bound, another is a Muktaha, is a liberated one. And there are many who are in between, who are in the process. So definitely then there must be a difference in the Jiva based on the Bandha Moksha, etc. So Vidyaranya said no, Bandha Moksha are Mithya. And Bandha Moksha are Mithya, and therefore Jiva Bheda, duality between one Jiva and the other Jiva based on Bandha and Moksha, also will be Mithya. And thereby, of course, we Atma Bheda, Atma Bheda, Jiva Bheda is gone. Atma Anatma Bheda also is gone. Because if that duality persists, then also there will not be moksha. Atma Anatma Bheda, Jiva Jagat Bheda, Ishwar Jagat Bheda. Well, so that kind of a difference also is not there. Atma Bheda is not there, Atma Anatma Bheda also is not there. All kinds of duality have been negated. And to negate duality, well, basically we said all the three. You see a duality and a difference between Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat. Ultimately, all the three are created by Maya. That's how we are saying they are Mithya, and therefore the difference between them is Mithya. And when he said this, then he is not able to accept. He says, okay, you are saying Atma Bheda is Mithya, Jiva Bheda is Mithya, because the Bandha Mokshas are Mithya. Bandha Mokshas are created by Maya, of course. But the division are created by Maya, and therefore even Bandha Moksha also is someone is bound and someone is free, etc. All this is a part of this life. Also is mithya. So Bandha Mokshas are mithya, then who created this Bandha Moksha, etc.? And because Jiva is bound, Ishvara is free. But Jiva Ishvara Bheda itself is not there, means Bandha Moksha also cannot be there. Jiva also cannot be there. Anyway, so what I am saying is ultimately this Bheda is mithya. They are created by Maya. Okay, what is this blessed Maya? And where is it situated? Where is Maya and what is Maya? So we keep quiet. Because when they ask really Maya is there, we say no. Then he asks the Maya is not there. We say that also is no. We don't say it is there. We don't say it is not there. And therefore, he says, so how will I accept your philosophy? Everything is ultimately created by Maya, including Bandha Moksha. Jiva is bound and Ishvara is free. But Jiva Ishvara Bheda also you say is also, Jiva is mithya, Ishvara is mithya, Jiva Ishvara Bheda is mithya, therefore Bandha Moksha is mithya, everything is mithya. So created by Maya. Then I am asking you what is this Maya, and then you are not answering. Whether, no, it is non-separate from Brahman. Really, is it non-separate from Brahman? No, we don't say it is not, we can't say even it is non-separate from Brahman. Then it is separate from Brahman? No, that also we can't say. Then what is this Maya? So this is a problem. So he said, you are logically very weak, he says to us. You are logically whole, your philosophy of non-duality is based on Maya, and that Maya you are not able to answer. And so you are logically, basically very weak. We say don't say that. Because you want to establish the duality between Jiva and Jiva ultimately. You don't accept Ishvara, I know. So you will not bother about Jiva, Ishvara, Bheda, etc. Ishvara is mithya for you, because you don't accept at all. But Jiva, Bheda you are accepting, and for that Bandha Moksha real you are saying. If you accept Bandha Moksha real, you are blaming us to we are telling you Bandha Mokshas are mithya, and you are blaming us. That, okay, Bandha Moksha are mithya, and then how would they come, because they are Maya, through Maya, etc. And Maya you are not able to answer, and therefore, how will I accept your Bandha Moksha mithya? Okay, let's take your position, Bandha Mokshas are real. Then you will have a more logical fallacy. You will be, in fact, more, you are weaker than even me, logically. And that has been told very beautifully. And we saw two logical fallacies also, in which, basically we said, if Bandha is real, okay, what kind of a Bandha which is beginningless? They also say. If Bandha is beginningless, then it cannot end. It's endless. Then moksha cannot come. But you say, Bandha is anadi, and you accept the principle what is beginningless is endless also, that principle you accept it also. Then Bandha also anadi you say, so it is beginningless, therefore it is endless. The Bandha will be there in the future. It is endless means what? It will be there, it has no end. So there will not be any moksha. Then in your philosophy you talk about moksha, you proclaim moksha. If moksha is possible, then Bandha has to end. Because you are talking about real Bandha. Bandha has to end. And therefore if Bandha ends, if something which is beginningless and it ends, really, in reality, that how will you please explain us? How will it happen? Real Bandha, which is beginningless, will end. Anything which is real and by nature it is beginningless, it will remain endless. Simple. That we accept it also. Logical axiom. How will you talk about moksha? First logical fallacy. If Bandha is beginningless and still moksha can come, logical fallacy. Second, and if moksha comes, second one, if moksha comes and then it ends also. Anything which comes, anything which has beginning will end also. You have no choice, because you accept what is beginningless is endless. Means what is which has a beginning will end also. That also you don't have any choice. I should not ask you whether you accept this or not. And therefore moksha, well, it arises. Moksha is adi, will end also. Like bandha has arisen, yeah, well, and it ends. Suppose if you say, well, bandha is a beginning and therefore it will end and moksha will come. Earlier you said bandha is anadi. If anadi, then moksha cannot come, I said. Then you said, no, bandha is adi. Bandha arises. It has a certain beginning. Because you will have to say that. And then it ends and moksha comes. Okay. Then moksha is a beginning. Then that also will end. And in your philosophy, whenever I look into your philosophy, you talk about nitya moksha. If moksha ends, it is a anityam. How can you say a nitya moksha? It's another logical fallacy. And so if you accept bandha moksha, real bandha moksha, you are logically weaker than even me. Whereas we say bandha mokshas are mithya, and therefore bandha mokshas are mithya means what? Mithya means what? Well, because anything which is mithya is beginningless, but it ends just by knowledge. Any kind of a Brahma is like this. Sometimes we have a Brahma throughout the life. It may end at any moment. It may end at any moment. So many things we we studied science, right? And we came to know the sky is blue, etc. I mean, we came to know there is no blue sky, etc. But before that, from birth onwards to whatever the time, I mean, till we study, we remain in that Brahma. And therefore, before few years, till then, I was thinking that even ocean is really blue. I mean, the blue water is there. I was thinking like that. You imagine. So therefore, okay. And that Brahma has started when? Before I had a knowledge that ocean is not blue, and now suddenly error has occurred that ocean is blue. Come on. Error has no beginning. It ends by knowledge. That's mithya. Error has no beginning, it ends. Okay? And therefore, this is like this. But why error can come? Because ajnanam. Error, the janani, the mother of any error is ajnanam. And ajnanam is anadi. You cannot prove it has a beginning. It has beginning. You cannot prove. It's not even your experience also. It's not your experience. Even if you gain a knowledge, suppose you may say that I have forgotten. That's true. It may possible that you might have forgotten. But you cannot say, oh no, this thing I never knew. You cannot say. Once you know for sure, knowledge will be there, and then ignorance again can come and attack on knowledge, and knowledge will just go, and then ignorance again can sit down there. No, it is impossible. So ignorance is beginningless. So the error born of ignorance is beginningless. And when you gain knowledge, it ends. Mithya thing is one which is beginningless, which ends. Satyam is one which is beginningless, never ends. This is the stroke of a Vedanta. Whoever says bandha mokshas are mithya, mithya means how can I experience? If what is experience is mithya. In non-existence it cannot be experienced. Yeah. What is experience, you take it as a real. That is what the error is. You take the snake as a real. That's your problem. I don't have the problem. I see the rope. It's your issue. Right? You have ignorance of the rope. And so that error of snake, etc. arises. So if you don't know, the error continues. It's a mithya. Sarpa is mithya. Which you experience. You cannot say, I don't experience. If you say mithya, but I don't experience. You have a problem. So you are trying to run away from that snake. Mithya is one which is experienced, but which is not there. Non-existent thing cannot be experienced at all. An existent thing which is self-existent, really which is there, satyam, which will be experienced all the time. Mithya is something which you experience. On analysis, it goes away. And still experience can continue. The reality part has gone. That's what it is. Non-existent is one which is never experienced. Existent, self-existent, Satyan thing is one which is ever experienced and which is real. Mithya is one which is experienced. You took it as a real, but then on analysis you found it is really not there. Let the experience continues. It never becomes, because Mithya is a different thing altogether from Sat and Asat. Therefore it doesn't become non-existent. Why should it become non-existent? We are going to talk about it today. It never becomes. There are thousands and thousands of experiences we have. Just experience continues. Just experience continues, but you know it is not real. That's what the category of Mithya. It's not really a category. Category is only two people understand, Sat and Asat. The third category people are not able to understand. Sad Asat Vilakshana. And therefore, ultimately, so this is Yukti Virodha. In your philosophy of Sankhya, if you accept Jiva Jiva Bheda based on a real Bandha Moksha, you will enter into a lot of problems. Second thing, Shruti Virodha also. You contradict the Vedic statements, which you cannot accept. Because you say you are Vedika. So you say Veda is a Pramana. And Veda never talks about Bandha Moksha as a real. And therefore it is, if I accept your Bandha Moksha which is real, and now based on that Jiva Bheda also is real, then I also will be Avaidika. You are Avaidika, but I have also become Avaidika. Bandha Mokshas are Mithya. Shruti says, Shruti says. Vastav Bandha Mokshau tu Shrutihi na sahate taram. 234. Vastav Bandha Mokshau. The real bondage and real bandha and moksha, etc., bondage, Shruti does not tolerate that. If somebody says, this bandha mokshas are real, Shruti just can't tolerate that. Sahate taram, Vastav is real. So, in your teaching, considering bandha moksha as real and the Veda between Jiva and Jiva, Atma Veda, if you say that, Shruti Yukti Virodha. Contradiction in terms of logical fallacies are also there, and Shruti Virodha also is there. Then what is a Shruti? They are quoted. Na nirodho na cha utpattihi, etc., etc. In verse 235. Na nirodha. This particular occurs we know in a Mandukya Karika, but actually this is a Mandukya Karika means then it cannot be Shruti statement, right? But Acharya says Shruti statement means definitely must be there in Upanishad. And so in Brahma Bindu Upanishad, they call it Amrita Bindu Upanishad also. This is there, that shloka is there, mantra is there. Na nirodha, there is no nirodha, there is no nasha, there is no marana. And and so at Jiva level we call marana, death. At a Samashti level we call pralaya, resolution. Na nirodha. So at a Vashti level also there is no death, and Samashti level there is no pralaya also, both are unreal. Nacha utpattihi, birth also is not there at a Vashti level, and Srushti at a Samashti level, Srushti creation also is not there. Then na baddha, there is no bound person, so there is no bondage. There is no bondage. So if bound person is negated, means bondage is negated. And then na sadhakaha. In the process of getting released, one who is a seeker and doing karma yoga, etc., and trying to get qualified for knowledge, etc., that sadhaka seeker also is not there. Bandha itself is not there, where he is a seeker of freedom. Anyway, so basically na sadhaka. So, I mean a bound person, we have seen there are two categories, So, one who is bound, let us say, Jiva, who doesn't try to get rid of this bondage. And there is another one who tries to get rid of bondage through certain discipline, karma yoga, etc. He is called sadhaka. So, he is also bound, but he is in a process of he wants to get rid of this bondage. Bondage which is not there, really speaking. Bondage which is not there, he He wants to get rid of. Anyway, so, and then na mumukshuhu, and after getting qualified, now his desire for moksha is very strong, very intense desire, mumukshuhu. So, one who is a sadhan chatushay sampanna adhikari. So, this is, and he is doing shravanam, mananam, etc. like us. So, we are mumukshus. Yeah, there is a word mumuksha, desire for moksha, and mumukshu, there is a big difference. Mumuksha means a desire for moksha. Mumukshu means a one who is desirous of moksha. Then what is the difference? It's the same thing. No, there is a big difference. When you say mumuksha, there is a desire for freedom, moksha. That can be one of the desire. Then many people have like that desire. Many people are like that. We have a desire for moksha, but it may not be in a priority. But mumukshu, one who is a desirous of moksha, means in his life, that's a predominance. That is the priority of life, gaining moksha. That's a big difference between these two. Swamiji has explained somewhere, Pujya Swamiji. So mumuksha and mumukshuhu, very big difference. Desire for moksha is, many people have desire for moksha. Mumukshu means this person is basically desirous. So the person, his desire is so intense for moksha. So he is called mukshu, that person. Anyway, so now mumukshu, also he's gained qualification, but now he wants a moksha. So sadhaka and mumukshu, that difference between these two now you understand. Sadhaka is trying to get qualification, sadhan chatushtay sampatti. Mumukshu is the one who is already having sadhan chatushtay sampatti and is doing shravanam, etc. for moksha. So they are not there. Sadhaka is not there, but the bound person is not there, seeker is not there, mumukshu, the desirous of moksha also is not there. All apparent. Not there. What then? What are we doing? The teaching also, Acharya and teaching and all that, not there. Experientially there, really not there. What? Like TV serial. Whole show is there. I am going to talk about it. Whole show is there. The reality is screen. Nothing is there. Reality is screen. Was screen. Is screen. Will be screen. Whole show of teaching. Just think that way. That in TV Pujya Swami is teaching us. Just think. Whole show. We are mumukshus. And some are sadhakas also. Some are just come. What is going on? Etc. What is going on? Let's see. This one Swami is talking. This was a day for us also, maybe, perhaps in the beginning. We also might have started like that. Our mumuksha has totally become now, we converted into a person who is a mumukshu. We don't want anything else now, etc. What I am saying is, whole thing is going on. Acharya is there, teaching is there, all this, that, etc. Everything is just one screen. Nothing is there. Just one screen. Non-existent means then you don't experience any kind of a show also. You experience a show and really it is not there other than the screen. Is mithya. That's what it is. That's what it is saying here. In reality it is not. Don't say I don't experience. We are experiencing ourselves as seeker and they are saying no and all. So understand really. When Shastra says something, when Shastra negates, it is from a Paramarthik standpoint. We should understand this very clearly. Shastra does not, Shastra accepts even a Vyavarika Satta, etc., creation, etc., and later it negates. And therefore, we should understand very clearly, when Shastra negates, it is from the standpoint of Brahman, or from the standpoint of Sakshi, Atma, whatever. From that standpoint, everything is, like from the standpoint of a screen, whole show is negated. Whole thing is negated. Anyway, navai muktaha, it is unreal. Iti esha paramarthata. Also, this is paramarthata. This is the reality. And then, verse 236. मायाख्याः कामधेनोः वत्सौ जीवेश्वरा उभौ यथेच्छं पिबतां द्वैतं तत्त्वं तु अद्वैतमेव हि. So मायाख्याः basically. So मायाख्याः कामधेनोः. Then we said Maya Devi is the one author of who is capable of creating this Jiva, Ishvara, etc. They both are reflections. Jiva is a reflection in a Malina Sattva Pradhana Maya. Ishvara is a reflection in Shuddha Sattvana, Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya, etc. So, both require medium. Reflections require medium to reflect, and Maya provides the medium. Maya itself is a medium. Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya or Malina Sattva. Malina Sattva Pradhana gives a reflection called Jiva. Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya gives a reflection called Isha. So, and for that Chaturveda Akasha Drishtanta also is there. We will be seeing in the next verse. So, we have seen, of course, the reflections are there. Jalakasha, Meghakasha, etc. Anyway, so what this Maya is Anadi, and this Anadi Maya creates Anadi Jiva, creates Anadi. So we have to accept it that way. Anadi Maya basically, creates Anadi Jiva and Anadi Ishvara. I mean, creating a reflection in that medium itself. So Brahman gets reflected in this Maya, Shuddha Sattva or Malina Sattva. So reflections are there. All Anadi. Maya is Anadi, Brahman is Anadi, reflection is Anadi. Therefore, Jiva is Anadi, Ishvara is Anadi. All Anadi. And so, this basically, Maya creates this Jiva and Ishvara. Anadi, Jagat, Anadi, Jiva, everything. Yavat avyaktaya, vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame, ratragame, praliyante, etc., etc. Tatraiva avyakta sanyake, etc. So, the creation actually never begins. It is all manifestation through Maya. Srishti is a manifestation of already present creation. Pralaya also is basically not destruction but an unmanifestation of the whole prapancha. It's like a spreading. We have seen that. Spreading a ware is like a creation, and folding basically or packing the ware is a pralaya. So where particular clothes are there always in a shop. Sometimes they are spreaded and sometimes then they are folded also. So this is what the thing is. So prapancha is ever there like a cloth. It is always there in form of a Maya. Sometimes they manifest. So Maya gets unfolded. So that becomes Jagat. And then again folds back. It remains. That's called Avyakta Jagat. That's how Maya is called Avyaktam also, Avyakrutam also. Avyakrutam means undifferentiated. Differentiation occurs when the folding. When the sari is just folded, then you don't see. When they spread it and fold it, then you see the design and several things. So when again they fold it, you don't see any difference now. Anyway, so this is how the creation is. Whole Dvaitam is like this. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, everything is like this. So whole thing is being a product of Maya, including Jiva and Ishvara, means reflection in Maya either. And Brahman is Satyam. Other than, Brahman, everything is Mayikam. So, Aham Satyam Jagan Mithya. So, that is how Jiveshwaro Vatsau. Maya Khyaha Kamadhenoho. Jiveshwar Vatsau Maya Khyaha Kamadhenu. So, because of from this Maya Kamadhenu, these two cows are born, Jiva and Ishvara. And there is a duality. Yeah. Otherwise, why should Ishvara say like this? Why should Ishvara say Yada Yada Dharmasya Glanihi Bhavati Abhyuthanam Adharmasya? Means he is seeing separate Jagat. He is seeing separate Jiva who are Dharmika, who are Adharmikas. No, but Swamiji, then he sees duality, then he is Ajnani. Then why should I worship? It's an apparent duality. As a Ishvara, there is a apparent duality. Like as a Jnani person sees apparent duality. Same thing. No difference at all. So that is how Yathacham Dvaitam Pibatam. Let them enjoy this milk, Dvaita milk, duality milk, by both the Vatsas, by both the cows. Ultimately, Maya Kamadhenu is giving this milk, right? Duality is due to Maya. Then duality milk is due to Maya cow. And then these two are the cows of this Maya cow, and therefore let them drink. Both are drinking duality. milk. Tattvam tu Advaitam. Reality is not this Jiva Jagat and Ishvara, but Advaitam Brahma. Brahman is Nirgunam. It doesn't have any inferior attributes or superior attributes. They all belong to reflections. Malin Sattva and Shuddha Sattva, Pradhana Maya. Malin Sattva, Pradhana Maya, or Shuddha Sattva, Pradhana Maya. Malin Sattva means inferior attributes called Jiva. So reflection has attribute. Definitely. Reflections are attribute, but it is reality. Reality cannot be a reflection, and therefore non-duality alone is a reality. And then, last point author said is, both experience Dvaitam, then how come one is samsari, Jiva is samsari, and Ishvara also you said he experienced duality, but he is a samsari. Why? So we said when Jiva experienced Dvaitam, he does not see it as a mithya. If Dvaita Anubhava is a cause of samsara, well, Jnani and Ishvara both have a samsara. So we say Dvaita Anubhava is not a problem. All Jivan Mukta happily experience Dvaitam. Yathecham anubhuyatam. Yathecham. As they desire. Let them experience. So Ishvara and wise people both experience Dvaitam. Otherwise Ishvara should not say, well, I will take avatar, I will come and destroy the dharma and etc. I will establish dharma. Why? Because everything is you. Why? Who are you to? Who are you? Why should you come and do all these jobs? Everything is you ultimately. Why do you want to cut your limbs? It's everything is you. No. Ishvara means experience in duality, but with knowledge. Dvaitam mithya. Dvaita Anubhava is never a problem. Dvaita Anubhava cannot create samsara. Dvaita Anubhava cannot create samsara. Mithya Dvaita Anubhava cannot create samsara. Dvaitam is real, creates samsara. That's all. And therefore, that's the difference between two jivas. One who is enlightened, from whom the Satyatva Buddhi in Dvaitam has gone. Ishvara also has the knowledge. Same. So Satyatva Buddhi in Dvaitam has gone. So then both experience Dvaitam. No problem. So for them this Dvaita, duality milk is sweet. And for this Jiva, he all the time feels this is a very bitter milk. Duality milk is very bitter. Anyway, so Jnani also. But how do you know Jnani sees duality as mithya and Advaitam as a satyam? How do you know he experiences like that? He says that, and Grihastha Jnani says, fortunately, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam, and therefore he says he is Brahman. The fire is Brahman, and the ladle is Brahman, and this ghee is Brahman, and the Yajamana. He says that Yajamana is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So he is seeing non-duality. If he is seeing a duality, he will never say that the fire in that which is used in the ritual is same as the ladle and is same as the Yajamana. He will not say. But he says everything is Brahman, means what? Non-duality is appreciating. Experiencing duality, he is appreciating non-duality. Experiencing duality, he is appreciating non-duality. And therefore there is no problem at all. This is somehow experiencing and appreciating. Okay. And therefore, this is how Dvaita Satyatva Buddhi, one calf has a Dvaita Satyatva Buddhi, and therefore that Dvaitam is a bitter milk for him. Ishvara is a samsari. And he also experiences this apparent Dvaitam. It will be there. It will be there. Every avatara, Dvaitam will be there. Because many of our sadhakas feel that one day I will become alone like in Sahara desert. Nothing will be there. And then Ekamev Advaitam I will be able to say. That day will never come. Never comes. Never. In fact, Brahma Sutra discussion is there. Even the wise people sometimes Ishvara sends. Again. Yeah. Really. They are called some, I have forgotten some name. Some Purusha. Some adjective is used there. Adhikarika Purusha. See? Adhikarika Purusha. Means even though they are free, Bhagavan sends them again. Jao, because my time has not come to go. So you are my representative. Go to that particular country and diplomatic some problem. Okay, go. Ajit Dobhal, go. So he goes. So people who are liberated, they take birth again. Whatever some work they have to do, they do and they go back. I would feel Shankaracharya ji and this Vyasacharya ji both are like that. That's what my feeling is. They must have been sent by Acharya. By Lord. Could be. Or a Sakshat Avatara, you see. Either way, whatever. Point is, Adhikarika Purusha description is there in Brahma Sutra. And therefore, Dvaitam will be there, birth will be there, and everything will be there. You enjoy. That's all. You cannot enjoy if you have Satyitva Buddhi. In any Dvaitam, I am going to say that, in any Dvaitam, when you know for sure, you are rooted that this Dvaitam is Mithya, you are really enjoying it. And so Dvaita will be there. 237. कूटस्थ ब्रह्मणोर्भेदः नाम मात्रा धृते नहि घटाकाश महाकाशौ वियुज्येते नहि क्वचित्. So Vidyaranya connects, basically this knowledge to now Akasha Drishtanta. He reminds us. There he talked about the 4 types of Akasha. We have seen that. And that they were equated with the consciousness, the Chaitanya. So we saw that, micro-reflected space called Jalakasha. That micro-reflected space means the pot, basically. In the pot there is a water. And in that the space is reflected. So it's a micro-reflected space. And then macro-reflected space. There also water, Meghakasha. But in a large quantity. Megha, that rain-bearing clouds, in that there is a water. In that also space is reflected. That's a macro-reflected space. Meghakasha. And then, these are all reflections, right? And then definitely original. So, so micro-original space called Ghatakasha and macro-original space called Mahakasha. So, all this will be there. These are in examples. Same way in Chaitanya. Instead of Akasha, Chaitanya. So, this Vyashti Pratibimbita Chaitanyam, which is reflected in the mind, etc., in Sukshma Sharira is called Jiva. Conscious mind is Jiva, that's all, simple. Mind which is conscious is Jiva. That's all. Conscious mind means mind which has a reflection of consciousness. That's called conscious mind. Anyway, simple. That alone travels. Sukshma Sharira travels means that this along with the Chidabhasa means the Jiva travels. It is all it is. Sukshma Sharira which is having all, and it is there is never a day, there is never a time, let's say, that's better. There will never be a time when Sukshma Sharira is not conscious. It will be ever conscious, ever conscious. As Sukshma Sharira arises from Karana, because Karana Sharira itself is within consciousness. But it is Avyakta. Jiva is Avyakta. So conscious Karana Sharira is Avyakta Jiva basically. Conscious Sukshma Sharira is Jiva in a Vyaktavastha. Simple. And when it becomes manifest, definitely it has to manifest means for what? Because of karma. Then definitely body should be given, Sthula Sharira should be given, otherwise how will the Jiva functions? That's how between the two bodies, when the Jiva leaves this body, gross body, means conscious mind leaves, conscious Sukshma Sharira leaves this body, there is no prarabdha. So due to, again in between there is a once the prarabdha is over, and the next lot of prarabdha, it is about to fructify, means it is going to fructify, he should be given a body. Then only will experience Sukha Dukkha, otherwise how will he experience? Its whole function is due to because of sitting in the gross body, in certain locus, we call Golakas. Everything, whole Sukshma Sharira conscious Sukshma Sharira, Jiva, functions once it is embodied. It cannot otherwise function. And therefore, anyway, so basically, Vashti Pratibindha Chaitanyam, well, is in the mind, etc., is a Jiva. Samashti Pratibindha Chaitanyam, in that Vishuddha Sattva, etc., Maya we call Ishvara. There you can say Malina Sattva Pradhan, Maya. Or you say Sukshma Sharira. Or you say Karana Sharira. But I said Karana Sharira we don't generally mention, because it's of no use. When Jiva is Avyakta, it cannot function anything. And Avyakta Jiva can never be, we cannot talk about it. Because Shastra says we say. That's another thing. But otherwise we cannot, it is not available in Vyavahara. What is Avyaktam, unmanifest, cannot be available. Anyway, so, and well then, Samashti Pratibindha Chaitanyam is Maya, Ishvara. Then, well, micro original consciousness we call, or which is enclosed in this body. Avachinna Chaitanya. Where this actually, which is called Kutastha. An unenclosed original consciousness is called Brahman. Now he wants to say that this first two, the Jalakasha and Meghakasha basically cannot be equated because both are reflections, right? I am talking about in space, for the space, example. So Jalakasha and Meghakasha cannot be equated because they are reflected spaces. Jalakasha means, well, basically the Jalam, the water which is there in the pot, I am saying. And that space is reflected, and the space which is reflected in the water, in the clouds, they cannot be equated. That Akasha cannot be equated. But Avachinna Akasha, Ghatakasha, pot, enclosed space within the pot, and or this Mahakasha can be equated. Because the reflected space will have a different attributes, naturally. You know, all reflection means definitely it takes the attributes of a medium, and therefore it will be different. Like suppose spaces which is reflected in the water in the pot. Suppose that water is yellow in color or red in color. The space will look red. And the space which is reflected in the clouds, in the water in the clouds. So you are not able to color that water. So therefore, that space will have different attributes. So both these spaces, reflected spaces, Vyashti, Samashti, cannot be equated. Anyway, but Ghatakasha and Mahakasha can be equated. There is Ghatakasha and Mahakasha itself is a Brahma that we are going to talk about. Ghatakasha and Mahakasha itself is a Brahma. And therefore, so that can be equated. Same way, micro and macro reflected consciousness, well, also equation is not possible. Between Jiva and Ishvara, as a reflection, cannot be possible. But micro and macro enclosed consciousness, Avachinna Chaitanya, Aikyam is possible. And that Aikyam is through Mahavakya. That's what he is saying here. Why are you saying like this? But it is told here, Kutastha Brahmanoho Bhedaha Nama Matrat Rute Nahi. Kutastha Brahmanoho Bhedaha. Difference between Kutastha and Brahmana. One Avachinna Chaitanyam. The enclosed consciousness in the Antakranam here. Enclosed, not reflected. Please understand. Enclosed consciousness. When I will talk about this Pratibimbavada and Avachedavada, then I will definitely go into the detail of this. But right now you accept it that way. It is going to come in Pancadasi, I think in 7th chapter or somewhere. So we'll talk about it. So well, Kutastha and Brahman, well, basically these are enclosed consciousness. Kutastha means enclosed in mind, and Brahman which is unenclosed. Well, the Kutastha Brahmanaho Vedaha Nama Matrat, Naam ke vaste, just for the name's sake. Rite nahi, without this, well, there is, difference is in terms of name only, there is no real difference. That's what. Rute means vina, without. So nama matra drute nahi. So that is how micro and macro etc. Well, they are different type of experiences borrowed from this Vyavarika level. So basically, Nama Bheda is there, Nami Bheda is not there. Between Kutastha and Brahman, we have discussed, of course. Now, the difference in terms of a name, and it is not there. So at a Paramarthic level, these differences cannot be basically used. So yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha etc. etc. Well, that is what has been told. So these are borrowed adjectives, all this, not real adjectives. Rute means other than. It governs always a Panchami. So Nama Matrat is a Panchami. And so Rute means without. That always governs the fifth case, and so that is Nama Matra. So other than name-wise difference, there is no real difference. So without or other than. So Ghatakasha Mahakasha iva, then they give example. Ghatakasha Mahakasha iva, Kvachitna Viyujyete, Kvachitna Vidyete. So they are not different. Like part space and the total space, while Kvachitna Viyujyete, that this kind of a division we should not create. Same way you should not create a difference between a Kutastha and Brahman. Basically. Because part space, Ghatakasha is also enclosed. Jalakasha is different. Jalakasha and Megakasha cannot be equated. But Ghatakasha and Mahakasha can be equated. Enclosed space and then the total space, etc. So they are not different at any time. People are always, ask this kind of question. Enclosed space is smaller because it is 1 liter. The pot has a 2 liter capacity or a 1 liter capacity, and therefore enclosed space is smaller, and the total space is bigger. It is not actually smaller, etc., or that is big. If it is, see, what is the definition for an enclosed space? Suppose, what is the definition of an enclosed space? Well, that person who creates such a division between Ghatakasha and Mahakasha, I will say, enclosed space is the space within pot, and space outside, well, is Mahakasha, total space, unenclosed. Very statement that the space inside the pot, right, and that is small, etc., is a Bhranti. If you say water inside the pot, that is true. If you say pot inside the space, it is a Bhranti. Space is not inside the pot. Pot is inside the space. That's all it is. Such a small thing, but this is Maya. Pot inside space is a wrong statement. Pot is inside space is a right statement. Space inside pot is a wrong statement. Ghatakasha means what? Space enclosed in pot, or there is space inside pot. What can we say then if you have this Bhranti? Space inside a pot is Bhranti. Pot inside space is a reality. Then now show me the difference between pot space and Mahakasha, total space. Over. And so water inside the pot we can say, because there is a pot within water, that's true. And because you pour water. But can you make a pot and add 1 liter space? Well, no. Could you follow? You can say water is there inside pot because there is pot without water. And now you pour the water. So you say, yeah, water is there in the pot. That's okay. But can you make a pot and then add 1 liter space? Or can you add, like 1 liter water you add? Same way, can you add water? Or can you add space in after creating a pot? We can't do. All pots are in one space, okay? Not your pot. All pots are in one space. Similarly, consciousness inside body, we call Kutastha, Avachinna. Well, it's not true. All the bodies, not just gross, all subtle, all causal, all are within consciousness. All are within Maya, and Maya is within consciousness. Okay? And therefore, there is no question of, well, that shows because space is indivisible. Therefore, all parts are within the space. There is no space inside the part. Because space cannot be divided. If it can be divided, then we can create division. Bigger, smaller, etc. 5 liter space, 10 liter space. All we can create. Same way, Atma, consciousness also is indivisible. Nishkalam Brahma, we have seen in Mundaka also. Nishkalam, Kalam means parts. So it's partless, indivisible. And therefore, all the bodies are within consciousness. Where is the question of consciousness enclosed in subtle body or enclosed in this gross body? Consciousness enclosed in this body, which we call Kutastha. That's not. So how can we say micro, macro, Kutastha, Brahma difference? Really, there is a difference between Kutastha and Brahma. That kind of difference is not there. Verse 238. Yadadvaitam shrutam srushtehe prakta devadhyachopari muktavapi vrutha maya brahmayatyakilanjanan. So now, conclusion is, as Acharyaji now consolidates, no new teaching actually. Because some of the things you may be feeling also that, Vidyaranya consolidates, I'm sorry. Some of the things we feel that it's a repetition, but he wants to consolidate because he gives many examples and, explain one principle for many verses and all this. Then he has to consolidate the whole teaching, and that's what he is doing now here. So he wants to convey that this Advaitam was non-duality, is, and non-duality will be there. So Yad Advaitam Shrutam, the Advaitam which was mentioned in Shrutam, mentioned in the Shruti. Whenever Shrutam words come, means Acharya wants to convey to you that I am referring to Shruti. Whenever Smrutam word comes, you should understand that Acharya wants to quote something from the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, mainly. Other Smriti Granthas are there, but generally. This word Shrutam and Smrutam, etc., they are past passive participles of the word, of the root Shru and Smru. But Shrutam means it is heard. No. Yad Advaitam Shrutam. The non-duality which is heard. Non-duality which is talked in the Veda. Srushtihe Prak. That non-duality which is talked in the Veda as what? As which was present before creation. You know very well. Sadeva Some Damagra Aset Ekameva Dvitiyam. Chandogya. He is referring to Chandogya. 6th chapter. So, when we hear this kind of a statement, we get, this, that one powerful confusion can arise. What? Sadeva Somya Damagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. Before creation, Srushtihe Prak. Before creation, there was Advaitam. Ekameva Advitiyam Sat. So the creation was not there, and therefore, there was non-dual Brahman or Sat before creation. That's a powerful confusion. Powerful, not ordinary confusion. And this confusion they equate with what? That before few months you were intelligent. So that kind of a confusion. Okay? So before few months you were intelligent. Means what? So this Advaitam which was there before creation, that's not a correct thing. Advaitam has gone, Dvaitam has come, etc. Srushti has come, and in Pralaya again Advaitam comes back. No. This is a misconception on part of people. Vidyaranya says it is not true. Neha nanasti kinchana. Nana asti na iha. Iha means asmin loke. In this world, there is no nana. There is no Dvaitam. There is no maniness. Means there is no duality. Kinchana. Kinchana means not even an iota of a duality is there. Because this Brahman is prajnana gana, is a mass of consciousness. Mass of consciousness. I have heard this mass of consciousness. So it's indivisible. So what is there is just Brahman. What was there is just Brahman, Advaitam, non-dual. So there is no duality. So even now, Advaitam alone is, and future also what? Advaitam. Srustehe prak shrutam advaitam tadeva adya. So what was there before creation? All was Advaitam. Tadeva adya. Adya means today. I mean that Advaitam alone is now Srushti Kale api. First is a Srustehe prak, before creation. Now Srushti Kale, at the time of creation also there is Advaitam. And then says Upari Muktau api, later in liberation, well also there will be Advaitam. So in short, Trishu api Kaleshu, in 3 periods of time, well Advaitam is all the time there. Like in a TV program, the screen alone was there before you switch on the TV, and well screen alone is after you switch on the TV, and screen alone will be there after you switch off the TV. In between something, right? Still we scream so much. We scream when after switching on and switch off. In between you scream, seeing the screen, and therefore in between so all happened is screaming. People are screaming really. People like to see that ghost movie, and some show used to come. I don't remember right now. Certain shows were there even in India also, and they show always in night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock they show, and people they see, and then seeing the ghost movies they scream also. It is just screen, but they scream anyway. So in between also nothing happened. Before also there was a screen, later also there will be a screen, in between also it is screen, right? But something seemingly happened, that is the creation. Something seemingly happened. If you touch every character of that one who is a victim of ghost and the ghost, if you really touch, both are screen only. The reality is screen. One becomes ghost and one becomes a victim of ghost. So one is all the time afraid, and one is one who creates a fear anyway. So upon that consciousness, screen, well, all thing happens, all thing, whole show, yeah. So akashat vayuhu, vayoho agnihi, agnihe apaha, adbhya prithvi, prithvyam oshadaya, oshadibhya annam, annat purushaha. And then hunger, thirst, and then teaching, and there is ignorance, and there is a headache, and what not, and all ragadveshan, everything. Just one screen, nothing else. So muktau api bhavati. So in the state of liberation also this Advaita only will be there. And then another sentence in that, Maya akhilan janan bhramayati. Maya confuses this jiva by creating this seeming duality. One screen, all duality. So many characters, and house and cars and roads and ocean, and some villain will be there and what not. Everything. And sentient, inert, everything. Insentient, sentient, everything. In sentient also so many different varieties. Some lion will be there and some trees also will be there. And this actor keeps moving and singing a song around the tree, and everything will be there. All the thing will be there. Anyway, it's just one screen. So this consciousness, you are that screen. You don't have to see that screen anywhere. You are that screen on which whole show happens. Whole show. Through Maya. So Maya akhilan janan bhramayati. Maya confuses jiva by creating this seeming duality. So Maya, even Maya creates this experiential duality. Just experiential, not real. Because Maya. So same Maya covers our mind with Avarana Shakti. Creates a duality, covers with our mind also with Avarana Shakti, and creates Vikshepa Shakti. That's all. Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. So, well, Parda ho gaya. So there is no self-knowledge that I alone is the Sakshi of every whole show. Gone. So Avarana Shakti is good. That's okay. So just veiling power of a Maya is it's okay, very fine. In deep sleep state we don't have any problem. Whole show well is, there is no show at all. no problem. But it has a Vikshepa Shakti. It creates a seeming duality, exponential duality. And then, well, and you don't know yourself. You take yourself as Jiva, you take Jagat as a real duality, you take it as a real, and then whole samsara is born. So, Dvaita Satyatvam is ultimately the reason for samsara. Anyway, duality becomes real. So, watching serial is not a issue, not a problem. Taking the serial as a real event is the issue. Why we should unnecessary? Some people say, well, I will throw away this TV. Yeah, why should you throw away? At least keep one thing, At least keep one thing for your entertainment. Why do you want to throw away? Vrutha, without any reason, this Vrutha Maya, Akhilanjanan Namayati, without any reason, this whole thing is going on. We can't tell a reason. Why Maya should do all this? Why Maya should? It is Maya. Understand that it is Maya. Why magic show should be there? Why magic show? It is for your entertainment. Understand that. Why can't we abolish this Maya at all? Well, let us abolish it. We ask this question, Like just because movies create some disturbance, why don't you destroy movies? Whole Mumbai, that film city, should be destroyed. Why should you do that? Let them make new movies and you enjoy. Yeah. Don't take them as real. Your problem is not the movie, seeing the movie. In fact, you buy tickets also in black and paying lot of money, $200 and I don't know. Somebody said, Swamiji, this many prices are not there. Okay, maybe $50, $20, $30, whatever. But you go there and then take them as a real, and then you want to destroy. If you destroy it, there will be not destruction of a villain. It will be a destruction of the screen only. Anyway, so it's a destruction of the screen. So why Maya does all this? Let us abolish this Maya. There is no reason for that. So just because, just because there is a possibility of this television, possibility of a telecast, all this is there. So we have entertainment. Well, so there is no requirement of abolishing like the movies or the serials, etc. Understanding mithya, understanding that movie as a mithya, then it becomes a mahima. Then it becomes a glory. Really, people are able to, I have heard that there are some premiere shows in which they invite other film directors and other actors and actresses and all that. And they really appreciate the whole movie from one different angle. And then the next show will be our show. And we cry and whatnot. And they appreciate from the direction level and many levels. They have, so it's all glory actually. If you understand them as a mithya, it's a glory. If you can't understand it, it becomes a burden. So what was actually a threat becomes a glory of the Maya. So like they give example of a Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva wears a snake basically after removing the poison. Same way, this Maya also three-hooded snake. But if you remove that Satyatva, which is created by the Maya, actually is a Mayikam only, Mithya only. If you understand it that way, whatever he has created through these three gunas, it becomes a Mahima, glory of Ishvara. Ultimately, it's a power of Ishvara. It's a very divine power. It's a very divine power. We approach Ishvara through Maya. That's how we do. Really. We approach. That's how we worship Shakti so much. Anyway, so this universe is Abharan. Don't try to remove. You can't remove it also. Better understand what is the reality of it. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. We will have a